Chances are you've probably heard of the word aesthetic on social media. Although the dictionary definition of the word aesthetic is the philosophical appreciation of beauty, Gen Z has redefined this term to reflect the new and modern fashion trends that have arisen with the rise of social media. From the soft girl aesthetic to the old money aesthetic to the cottagecore aesthetic and the academia aesthetic, these brand new aesthetics have changed the way we perceive fashion and have also penetrated into retailers' offerings. For example, Hollister adopts many of the soft girl attributes from their pastel pinks as well as their bows. And then Brandy Melville has more of a New England style of clothing, referring to that old money aesthetic. Then we see Uniqlo with their academia inspired fits, with their business casual outfits. And then we see Free People with their flowy dresses, referring to that cottagecore aesthetic. So, in today's presentation, I wanted to talk about how you can leverage modern aesthetics to really redefine fashion. And with the Knowledge Matters virtual business simulation, you can do this all with creating those wonderful aesthetics and also creating a successful fashion brand. Now, before I begin, though, I really quickly want to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Shreenidhi Kunta, and I'm a four-year Lebanon Trail High School DECA member. I'm currently serving as the president of my chapter, and the skills that I've learned with the virtual business simulation in fashion have helped me become a better retail employee and have also helped me succeed in my ICDC event, namely retail merchandising. Now, before we start our fashion business, it's important to identify the proper trends in the market so that your products can align to your target market's needs and wants. And a great way to do this is through social media. Now, social media has a lot of different posts, both user generated and from the companies, and you can use these posts to identify popular trends. For example, here we have two posts from Hollister, and the post here, the first one with the sweater and the plaid skirt, really references that old money and academia aesthetic. And on the right here, we have a different post that reflects the soft girl aesthetic through the pastel colors, as well as the cottagecore aesthetic through the flowers that they're holding. Now, when looking at these two posts, we can use a marketing strategy called A/B testing, which is where you put two posts out that are a little bit different from each other, and then you see which one earns more KPIs or likes, shares, and comments. And based on the one that receives the more KPIs, that's the one that you can continue using in the future as a template, and you can also style your products based on these posts. And it's also important to look for keywords. For example, here in the caption, it says leading with softness, again, alluding to that same theme of that soft girl aesthetic. Additionally, hashtags like this one here, hashtag cottagecore, can again help you centralize all of those posts related to that same aesthetic and help consumers find those so that they can really see your brand and come to your store. Similarly, in the virtual business simulation, you can also do the same thing through InstaTrend. Here we have two posts, A and B, and by looking at both of them, we can see that you can use A/B testing again to look at the number of likes, comments, as well as hashtags to see which post is performing better. Here at the post A, we can see that we have a light orchid, relaxed woman's t-shirt. This is reflecting again that soft girl aesthetic, which is a popular trend in especially 2024 and 2025. And then on post B here, we have these gray jeans, again, kind of alluding to that streetwear look. So obviously, by looking at these two different trends, we can determine which trend is the best using the KPIs like likes. And based on that, we can try to model our product mix based on these trends. Now, I kind of want to go into trend alignment now. So now that we've discovered our trends, we need to make sure that our products reflect those trends effectively. And that really falls into the product aspect of the four P's of marketing. Now, in the virtual business simulation, you can essentially put different characteristics of your clothing and see if that product is on trend. And if it is on trend, it might be a good idea to add it into your product mix. That way, your product mix is optimized to your target market and is popular enough to make a high profit. Now, I want to show you how Hollister does this exact same thing. In their fall and winter 2024 collection, as you can see, they've adopted a lot of these popular aesthetics. For example, using soft colors to allude to that soft girl aesthetic, baggy jeans, as well as that coastal New England look to reflect the old money aesthetic. We also have camouflage, which has been a really popular theme lately, as well as Formula One racing. Hollister is able to optimize on those trends to ensure that their brand is appealing to the teenage market. Now, I want to move on to how to really optimize the in-store experience to really emphasize on those aesthetics and earn more sales. We can do this through visual merchandising. Visual merchandising is essentially the strategic arrangement of goods to create an overall experience in your store, and it also deals with creating a positive ambiance that really takes in the five senses to create an immersive experience for your customers. This really falls into the promotion aspect of the four P's of marketing. Now, some of the main aspects of visual merchandising are cross-merchandising, window displays, and store layout and location. And I'll talk about those items in the upcoming slides. The first aspect I want to talk about is cross merchandising. Cross merchandising is one of those strategies in visual merchandising where you place complementary products side by side so that you can encourage sale of a whole outfit. The benefits of this is that it improves the customer experience. Customers don't have to necessarily scout out individual pieces of their clothing in the whole store. Rather, they can just be inspired by these different product layouts so that they can buy the entire outfit as a whole. Additionally, this can result in a higher average order value, which is essentially the AOV. This is a metric that retail stores collect, which is essentially the amount of revenue that they make in that certain time period divided by the number of orders that they receive in that time period. Now, if the AOV is really high, that could indicate that each customer is buying more. And if each customer is buying more, that could be because of effective cross merchandising techniques. Additionally, another benefit of cross merchandising is that you can have a lot of effective promotion by doing this. Instead of promoting each item in isolation, by promoting all of the items kind of in a unit, you're able to kind of create a cohesive story that really connects with your customers. Another aspect of visual merchandising is window displays. Window displays are great ways to attract onlookers, especially stores in the malls. Now, a few key aspects of window displays are storytelling, product placement, stimulating the five senses, and changing it up regularly. Let's talk about telling a story first. Telling a story is so important in marketing so that you can really connect to your customers at a personal level. This can be done through immersive theming. As you can see here, the altered state window display has a lot of hot air balloons, as well as a quote about how the sky is your only limit. And this really describes how you can create this uplifting mood through your window display, and you can kind of entice customers to come in because of that positive mood that you're creating. Additionally, product placement is also really important. As you can see here, we have a very dynamic product placement. A lot of our hot air balloons are floating, creating that illusion of kind of uplifting our customers. And it's a very, it kind of has like a little more of a free flow environment here. And that really encourages people to come in because of that creative, dynamic product placement. In other stores like Zara or Banana Republic, you might see a more organized window display just because of the nature of the professional clothing they offer. Additionally, you want to stimulate the five senses using creative lighting, like here, the altered state, we have really beautiful lighting. Maybe using music and even vivid colors can again really attract your customers to your brand. And of course, you want to change it regularly so that you can update it for each season, keep on refreshing it, and so customers can be inspired to come in no matter what time of year it is. Now, I also want to talk about retail location, because this is a really important factor of how much sales you're going to earn as a retail business. It's really important to optimize place in the four Ps because place allows you to be accessible to your target market. And if you have your store in a high traffic area of a mall, that could also increase the number of window shoppers and ongoers that could potentially look at your window display and be inspired to come in your store. Now, the last aspect that I want to talk about is pricing and markdown. Now, price is a very important aspect of the four Ps of marketing because it can change consumers' perceptions about your product. And how do I price my product though? Well, you can look at the product lifecycle for some suggestions on how to price your product effectively. The product lifecycle is essentially a four-stage process that all products go through from introduction to growth to maturity to decline. In the introduction stage of any product, there are two different pricing strategies that you might consider using. There's penetration pricing, which is essentially pricing your product very low initially so that you can essentially penetrate into the market and get it into the hands of as many consumers as possible, and then increase the price of your product later on. There's also price skimming. Price skimming is a little bit different, actually very different from penetration pricing, because it prices the product really high so that you can recuperate on those product development costs, but then it prices it lower as you go on. Now, although these two different pricing strategies are very different, you can choose the one that fits your business the best, depending on the product that you offer. The next stage of the product lifecycle is the growth stage. This is where you really want to focus on differentiating your brand. In this stage, you might consider using competitive pricing. Competitive pricing refers to looking at competitors' prices and trying to either match or go lower than their price so that you can attract customers to your brand. You can also consider using value-based pricing, which is essentially taking in the value of the product. Maybe if it's a more prestigious product, you can price it higher. Maybe if it's a more lower quality product, you can price it lower. And so based on that and the perceived value, you can price it at a certain amount. The maturity stage of the product life cycle is really where you want to kind of expand your market share and really maximize that. And you can do that through discount pricing. And as you can see here, we've done lots of markdowns on our products in order to achieve that very goal of creating this illusion that our product is accessible to all people. And then the final stage of the product life cycle is decline. And this is the stage when your product is not in the spotlight anymore and there are new products that are overtaking it. At this stage, you might want to consider discontinuing your product or reinventing it completely so that new products can come into the market and you can continue making profits. Now, by leveraging your favorite aesthetics, social media insights, merchandising, and more, you can explore these really cool aesthetics and also create your own fashion business with the Knowledge Matters virtual business simulation in fashion. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions, I would love to answer them now.